This is Joshua Farnsworth. Welcome to my traditional woodworking school. In this video, Will Myers will show you an ingenious, historical way to attach a tabletop to his base. This lesson is a free excerpt from Will's video class on making this charming trestle dining table.
Alright, we're getting in the short rows for sure now. So what I've done here is I've assembled the base, the whole assembly, drove the wedges in tight, and that way if even if there's a variance, one end's maybe twisted a little or something, it doesn't matter, because we're going to use that shape, that whatever that ends up being, to locate these battens to mount the top. So I've done that, turned it upside down, and I've already went around with my rule that I have lost now, and kind of centered this on the tabletop. And something I've talked a little bit about it, but here again, this base right here, you could actually use a top that was, a couple or 3 feet longer than this one is on this same base, and that would give you seating at the end that would be a little more comfortable. You need about 12 inches from the edge of a table before you get to an obstacle underneath it. And that doesn't sound like enough, but most 12 to 13 inches is a good measurement on that. So you could extend what we've done here another foot. This top is, when we get the other breadboard on, it'd be right at 6 feet. So you could make it 8 foot and not change anything about the base. You really make it a little bit longer without any problem. It would, the base is plenty strong for that size table, and of course it would give you more seating on the ends. So with that done, we've got it centered up here. We need to locate where these battens go. And you see I've got one put together, and I put 2 dowels in it. Of course these dowels will eventually be tapered and slide in and out. And these battens we made a few minutes ago. So what we need to do is, I've got it centered up, and I'm just going to simply take a pencil and trace around where this meets the top. Make a good line that you can see. And this is, of course, the underside of the table. I've got to do a little bit more work on it before it's completely finished, because it does need a little bit of flattening, especially on this end. But it's really not imperative. I mean, it's the bottom side of the table. I mean, really, who looks at it? So really, I guess I could leave it like this. But anyway, so now we have our locations of our battens made. And one other thing, I'm just about to forget it. I'm going to number these end assemblies right here, and I'm just going to make a little mark on the inside of this. I'll actually strike this in with a chisel later. End number 1, end number 2. And then later on in the future, when we reassemble this table, we'll be sure that end number 1 goes in end number 1. Because we're going to bore these holes for these dowels are probably between these 2 sets of battens, not in the same place. So it'd be kind of custom made, but one little thing to remember, just be sure to number your ends. And I strike it in there with a chisel where it's very visible. So as far as putting the battens on, there's not much to that. You see what I've done. I've got get this out of the way before I knock it off. You see what I've done. There's our location of our top, where the cross piece meets the bottom of the top. So what I'm going to do is just line one of these battens up with the Everything's walking away. With the one side right here. And I'm gonna leave just a little bit of space. I don't want it, you wanna be sure that piece will slide down between these. Doesn't necessarily have to fit tight between them. So, yeah, pencil will never reach. Kind of center it there. Just worry about one side to begin with. I've got a little bit of space at our pencil line there. So I'm going to go and just do a couple of the holes. And we'll put those screws in and then come back and mark the others. Well, I guess I can go ahead and do it now. I can keep it where I had it. So like I said, I'm just doing one side right now. There's a knot right there. In fact, I'll do that one after we get done. So now I'm just going to bore a little pilot hole, and I really need a piece of tape on here, because if you drill all the way through this point, you're going to be sick, and we don't want to do that. Scoot around here. So I'm going to be very careful, and I'm not going to drill all the way through it. But really, it's best to measure and put your little piece of tape on the bit, because it would be at this point kind of a sad feeling to do that. So now I'm just going to put my screws, or put a couple of screws in this side. And these screws are just a little bit on the short side for this, but they're going to get us by for today till I can get some longer ones. And there you can see what we've done. I've got a little bit of I'm a little bit off this one side of my line, so I know that we're good. So you see I've got my dowels, and these are full size. They haven't been tapered yet, of course. Run through there, and what that does is that keeps us aligned, so now that we can go ahead and bore and mount this other side. And here again, I'm leaving just a little bit of a gap. And I'm going to go ahead and bore right through these. My dowels are holding it in place pretty well. All right. And grab a couple more screws here. Well, I didn't mean to get them all, but I did. All right. So now we can go ahead and screw this other side on. We know that our peg holes, our pin holes here now are aligned.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying watching our video so far, and I just want to take a few seconds to let you know about our traditional woodworking store, which you can visit while taking a class or by visiting our website at woodandshop.com/store. You'll find our amazing products to help you grow in traditional hand tool woodworking, including in-person and video woodworking classes, woodworking hand tools and workbenches, woodworking plans, traditional wood finishes, shirts and hats, and cool hand tool woodworking gifts for you or your loved ones. Okay, back to the show.
With one another. And Go ahead and put these middle ones in right quick. So that's all there is to that. And you should be able to pull these out now. So now I'm going to put my base back up here. Center it in between the battens. Be sure everything's lined up. And then I can just take the same auger I used to bore the peg holes, and I'm not going to bore in, I just want to make a little mark because we're going to offset these a little bit so that when we're going to taper these pegs, when we slide them in, it pulls that base up against the top. So that's all I'm doing, I'm just locating. And right here's something I'm doing. I'm going to bore this from both directions. It's a pretty long bore right there, and it's easy to get out of a line. So I pushed in, I've made marks now. So should be able to see them. Right here they are. And that's where we need to bore from, or to. Okay, this time I'm going to move the auger away from the top, if that makes sense. And what that's going to do is leave a little more meat down here, so when we push this tapered peg in, it pulls together, just like a draw bore, but it's reversible. So that's about all there is to that. I'm going to get this turned back over and bore these right quick, and then we'll taper the pins and wrap this thing up. Okay, I have the holes bored in the cross piece here, and you can see these are not round anymore. I've had to file, and I got way off on that one somehow. So, but nevertheless, I just used my rat tail file and adjusted those. So now we're ready to reassemble this. And of course, this is upside down, which kind of goes without saying, doesn't it? So, put our pegs or our wedges back in there. So, next thing we need to do is make 4 of these little wedges. And you see what I've done? I've just took a piece of dowel. And of course, the best thing to do would be to split these out of some straight gained oak or something like that. And I just didn't take the time, so didn't have the time. So I just bought some dowel. And if you pick through the dowel at like a home center or somewhere, usually you can find some that if you look, you can see how the grain's running through it. So, and it usually serves pretty well. So all I've done is taken a chisel and just made a long taper right here. And so that's what I'm going to do here. And it's not much to it, really. It's just a long, kind of gentle taper and kind of pointy on the end, because we want it to go through the holes there kind of snake through just like a draw bore, and we want it to stick to come all the way through out this other side. That way if you push it in there and it gets stuck, and if it doesn't come all the way through, you can't take a hammer or something and tap it backwards. So then you got to try to just grab it and pull it out, which is kind of hard. So here we go. We're just tapering a dowel, not much to it, and just a nice long even taper. So we'll try that there, and that needs just a little bit more. Come on up on it just a little. Almost there. Just kind of point it up like that. Well, not cooperating at all, so I think I'm gonna have to take my little rat tail file there and work on that hole just a little more on this one. I do believe. But by the holes being offset, there we go. Offset a little bit like we did them. You see that pulls down there. It's holding that top. It's pulling it up against tight there. So, and the other one goes right over here. And that one fits a little better there. That one's working like it should. But you want it to just come through the other side. You may not be able to see it, but this one is poking through a little bit. And the reason for that, you want to be able to tap it and take it back out easily, quickly. So that's about all there. We need to get the other end, the other two battens made, or not made, but mounted. And I think we'll be ready to talk about some finish and wrap this thing up.
If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking, come take a class at our school in Earlysville, Virginia. You can also visit our website at woodandshop.com, where you'll find a bunch of free woodworking lessons, workshop tours, and our very popular tool buying guides. And make sure you subscribe to our free newsletter to get our latest articles and videos. Enjoy!